Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would get cracking on this very strange Kriel space station here again, and this time I think the next part here is I kind of want to try to work out this area, moving backwards a little bit, and then maybe try to get to the front and try to create a weird cyclops eye. You gotta have it. Um, so yeah, the first part here. Let me turn on symmetry again, and I think I got that sort of set up already. And okay, so at the very last of the previous video, I was working on kind of these like gills or something like that over here. So what I'm thinking about doing now, it's got 3 rows of them. I wanted to have this line here so I can put in optional texture lights if I want to do that later on. But now I kind of want this to kind of head downwards a little bit, kind of slope back into the this back part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take where the angle stops here, then I'm going to reverse it and go the other direction with it. So I'll get kind of the same kinds of blocks that were being used on the last part. The difference is I basically kind of want them to start going down right away. I think I might leave 1/2 block though. So if I went something like that across the top here, should work hopefully. And then kind of taper that into a bit of a curve going on the bottom part here. So I just got to get in a lot of different angle blocks to try to match what's going on here. Now this part here is a little weird though. I got that angle there. I don't want the big part in there. So I think what I need to do is switch this block to this one, and then we can follow that same contour. And I think it has to switch out of that back to the other one again, right up here. And no, okay, so here we'll go with this. Alright, so now we're kind of in the center. Now, what I'm thinking about doing on the center here is changing this a little bit and start getting a little pipe action going on or something different. So I don't think pipes will work quite here yet, but let's put in some kind of angled block here on the center that can go out to there at least for now. Okay. And I'm gonna have to follow this angle here another round. Okay, so that works there. How about one more round? Row, I should say. Alright, so now joining up to the center area here. Not sure if I put in the right blocks for this yet. So I just kind of want this to be come out 1/2 block, but kind of taper down and angle the same direction that it was in the other area. But I think if I do that, I'm going to have to switch out the blocks I used there. I have to go with a full block. Oh no. A full block. Alright, so we got something like that. I want to keep on messing with this too. So, now the only thing I don't like here is I'm going at a 45 here. I wish I was going at a 22.5. I don't think that'll work because of the blocks that I'm using there if I want to create that contour. But let's start changing it here again. How would this work out? Say we went to the other angle set and just kind of started in here to form a 22.5 that might have the 45 going right over the top of it, which will create another different kind of line pattern over here. So let's see what happens here. Definitely different. Oh, I hope I could go. I hope I can pull this all together. It's always makes me nervous when I'm in you know, different ground here, or building something completely unique from the past. I don't have anything I can really fall back on here. Alright, now one thing I have not thought about this either is solar. This thing is, I'm trying to make this look so alien, or as alien as I could make it look, and solar panels just do not look alien. So that is kind of one issue, but if you're going to use this as a player base, I would say that you kind of want that. You kind of want solar panels, especially on the space station. Okay, so I got that line there. Again, I want to have this keep on going back, but I'm not sure if I should keep on raising it, or should I tier this out a little bit too? I don't know yet. Okay, so what if we took where this straightens out here currently and just go kind of straight back? Would that work? Not really a big fan of that either. Okay, so what if we had this come out just a little bit here? Ooh, that's not going to work either because of that block. Going to be tricky. I kind of wanted to get myself in these predicaments, so believe it or not, for the sake of doing a video, as in when you're building stuff, a lot of times you'll get stuff that just isn't working out right, and this is a lot to do with, you know, ideas you could try to get around that, maybe a lack of blocks or something like that, or some of the geometry you got just doesn't work out. So far, it's been pretty solid, though. Most parts. Again, the thing I'm scared most about is the tentacles. Worried that I don't have the right kind of blocks to actually make that a reality or to look decent. Obviously, you can make that with a bunch of square blocks, but I can't keep it that way. This is not Minecraft. That might be acceptable in Minecraft because you don't have any other choice, but this is Empyrion, and it's got a lot more blocks. That's kind of how I look at it too. Alright, so we've got that a little bit. Let's get a couple more blocks on this part. Keep on moving it backwards. And it changes its angle there. And I'm going to go another row here as well. I think. Okay. Now, the idea, okay, so this, we got our start, and then we got our little bit of a gill section, and then this part going on the top. There needs to be a transition section that kind of comes down here too and starts forming something like a shell on the back of it, which I kind of haven't started really doing yet. But I wanted it to have some depth here because this is going to be your main hangar, and it's going to be like the main interior spot of the base of the space station, and did want it to have some room inside, especially if it's going to be alternatively used as a POI. You kind of want the POI to have some space to run you through some kind of course and try to kill you. Try to kill the players, not you personally. You know, it's the whole point of making these things. You know, it's kind of like going against the flow, I guess. I don't know. All right. So now we got that angle, and I also definitely have to start thinking about some turrets too. At least I don't need to place thrusters in here, since it doesn't move. So that makes it the build a bit easier to start with. You know, I don't really have to worry too much about the CPU and that kind of thing at this point. Bases are typically a lot easier with that than things that move. Okay, so this is getting pretty squirrely over here too. Now, what if... Alright, so that's expanded out a little bit. Some of this in-between area is not much to do except fill it in for now. But this will give me some opportunity once I get to the inside of this to manipulate a lot of these full blocks to create something going on with the ceiling and the other inside, basically. Take this out. You got one more here. Okay, let me just do something with this area here. This is again another little tricky area. How is this all going to work out? Okay, so on this one here, we've got two distinct shapes. If I just put in a square there, that doesn't look too wonderful on this side, unless I can bend this line out. And I think I can do that. But I got to start it at the right spot. If I can't start it here because it's like halfway in between the two blocks that have to be in order, but I can start it here. If we got rid of those, and then we went to say something like this, and then change that again to something like this, we can kind of make a bit of a curve here that will hopefully line up to this part, and then everything starts working out. Maybe. Again, that's a maybe. Or maybe I think I need to start this curve a little bit earlier. Yeah, let's take it back two more. And then we'll put in that. And our transition to 22.5 going a different direction. Let's see how this comes out here once you get a few more blocks added in. And how does that match up to this angle here? Doesn't really. Okay, so we're gonna do this even crazier. So we transition there, and now we're gonna hit this angle on the top side of this. Oops. There we go, like that. And then, okay, now this actually lines up to the other part. Big question is, do you really want it to line up to the other part? I'm not sure. But it does in fact work. Again, not a wonderful angle. Kind of weird, but I want to get the skin done, and then after that, you know, or the outer body, like even if it's done quickly like this, I want to get it complete enough to see what the overall thing's looking like, and then start digging into parts of it. Maybe, you know, replacing some of the blocks that are already here with some other features or something to look at. That maybe ties it all in. That you won't know until you get it far enough along on exactly what changes you'd want to make to make it look neater or prettier or something like that. All right, so we've got that. So I think what I want to do here is let's add another row going down the side over here. Let's try to find the right block and figure out what angle I want to actually do this at. Okay, so we're using our this particular angle set there, so I'm going to switch it up here and go to this angle set to create a bit more of a curve. So if I don't want it inverted. Not yet. Maybe that could be an idea for later on though. Okay, so we'll put in that block and some of these. Okay, so this changes here as well. So we got that angle, and these conform to that pretty decently. And X lines up there. And now here needs to be altered. Back into this set again. Okay, so lots of different angles kind of forming a roundish looking thing there. That's cool. Alright, so what would be kind of neat with this though is if it started making a pattern. Like, okay, so we're coming here, we do this, and we turn 22.5, and then it does a straight, really quick 45, and then 22.5 the other direction. What if I mimic that, but keep it out another row space or two? Like, essentially, God, can I even do that, though? Yeah, I know, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. I wouldn't either. If I was watching this video, I wouldn't know what I'm actually thinking. I don't actually know exactly what I'm thinking, even, you know, when I'm thinking it, if that makes any sense at all. Probably not. Okay, so, no, I'm going the wrong way with this. I don't want to curve it in necessarily like that. We're already at 45, or do I? How would that work out? Then we follow that same angle this way. Around the corner. And then transition to the 22.5 at the same angle to match that angle there. And that leaves a little bit of a gap between the two areas. But could allow for some like painting of this a little bit differently in this section, which could work out nicely, maybe. Yeah, something like that. Could probably back that up with another angle at some point here. Again, the body on this though is the intent was to keep on changing it, so it doesn't really have much in like it certainly doesn't have any like repeating patterns or straight walls or anything like that. It's just really just always trying to be in flux, depending on what angle everything's at and how it's all working out and things like that. I think I kind of like the idea of what's going on there a little bit. Alright, so, okay, so let's try this another time here. Let's do one more row here, and then I'll probably switch over to the front of this again and work on an eyeball for the rest of the video. See if that actually works out. So I'm putting this in totally wrong. Let me get to the right block here. Hey, there we are. Yep, there we go. Find it eventually. Now, God, do I keep it at the same angle? That's, I don't want to really. I want this to come out. Okay, so we're gonna go straight here. And I'm gonna do that, say 2 blocks, and then we'll start doing this angle again for a bit. Until I get to Let's go one more out for now. And then about here. I'm trying to compare the gap between this line and this line versus this line and this line, because I kind of want it to be uniform to make, again, kind of a big pattern going off the back here. But I kind of want it to kind of mimic the angle that it's following right now, but different layers. So I think what I got to do here, I came out one further though. Let's not. Let's stop it there and then put in this angle set for a little bit to match that angle. Up to about the same area. Okay, so once I get to here, it needs to change angles briefly to the other set again. Oops. Let's get the right block. Okay. Okay, so you would be a full, and that, and that. That's a little tighter than what it's going on over there, though. That might be okay, though. Let's try it. Let's try it. Okay, so then we want to bend this. So I gotta convert back over to this angle. Like that. And then we will go, ooh. See, the whole thing, though, is this is turned a little bit different. I think I got myself in a predicament now. Okay, so let's put, I gotta see how this is gonna line up. So what I gotta do to create this little lip here is figure out where it needs to be at this point, and then make this line up to that, because I want this to have a 1/2 block gap right there and follow the same angle. So I'll have to redo a couple of those blocks leading to this area. Kind of see what's starting to happen here, though, is just making this weird line formation back over here. And maybe I keep them all. Maybe I change the top angle to match the bottom angles. Maybe that should come out to here instead. But first I got to fix this. This isn't cool here. So let's take it back a little bit. I think here I'm going to try to do an angle here, but no, I don't think I can do that. I think even if I tried, it will fail, but maybe, I don't know, maybe not, maybe not. Maybe this is cool. We'll find out. And no, that still doesn't work, does it? And I'm losing my the lip here if I use that, so that's not cool. Alright, so the drawing boards again. Alright, let's go to straight over 45. That's probably the missing link I was looking for here. Except it's ignoring this little subtle curve now. Can I simulate that, though? Can I actually bend this in to match this angle? I should be able to. But for some reason, I just seem to be using all different blocks here versus the previous row. So that's, I think what has to happen is it has to be this here still. kind of what I did have, though, isn't it? If it did that, and can that work coming in here, or is this where is this where it falls apart? See, that doesn't work for the other stuff. Yeah, I think there's an issue where there's a block that is not in here that would allow that to happen correctly. A couple of them actually, and this is sticking out a little bit more over there too. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to make it a little bit simpler throughout this section. Maybe just have kind of more of a straight line coming across here, and then join up here. Just not exactly matching the formation above, but I think it'll work for now. All right, let me fill in a few more blocks here. Let's work on the eyeball. At some point, I'm gonna get courageous enough to work on the tentacles. Still scared of them. Just scared of them. I don't like this right here, though. It's still not quite right. Just gonna fill in a bunch of these for now. Something like that. Yeah, it's a little ballsy. The angles on the other ones are kind of going that way, and this one kind of flows the other way a little bit. One nice thing, with using Kriel and the standard Kriel coloring, is they're pretty dark, and they do hide a lot of the shadows and things. So if you got stuff that doesn't line up perfectly right, sometimes you can hide it a little bit. We'll see how that turns out, though. I'm not sure. But this isn't right yet. I got to do something about this. So, exploring options. So I could do that. And then maybe this, and then that. So that kind of follows this line a little bit more. A little bit better. Okay. Alright, and the back's starting to go out to something now, which is cool. Gonna get more of that built up there. Let me do the white block thingy. Oop, not configure, replace all. I think I was just using straight white on this one, and there we go. Alright, so now the debate. Cyclops eye or two eyes? I could work with either, really. If I had two eyes, I would kind of want them maybe down in this region. If I wanted a Cyclops eye, probably around the front over here. Now the Cyclops eye, it doesn't have to be like an eye. It could actually be a big, nice window or something like that. In which having the single would probably be better for the interior. Having a little bit more room space. So I'm going to think about that. Okay, so let me turn off my light since it's so bright here already. And I want to have a lip here. But I want to also follow the angle. Okay, so what I'm going to do, God, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off. I think, again, there's going to be a problem of potentially missing some blocks to make this seam. And I'm going to really try to do it anyway. So we're going to go with this block over here, trying to do a position between the one there and what would come next. Again, trying to make this half block row even all the way along this. So got to just kind of dive into some different blocks here to try to pull that off. See, but I'm gonna have a failure here then, because I won't be able to do this angle going up if I run that angle below it. So, another compatible block with that edge would be this one. And that actually I think is going to work. So yeah, so now we got that thing. It follows the contour around there. I think it's looking good. And that should meet it back up over there. I don't even know if I'm going to extend it out that far anyway, so. Alright, so let's put in some filler blocks back here. Okay, so now I think, well, I want the eye more of an oval shape. So what I'm doing here is I keep on following the contour, and I think that is where the problem lies. I don't want it to follow the contour there. I want it to now transition and start forming that oval. So swap out that end block with one of these, and then we can go down like that. Let's do one straight block in here for now, and then start following that same block pattern down on the bottom side and around. And I gotta get those in. So that'll be a couple of these. So I'll do the top as well. Oh, no, that is not that. It is on the top, so I got something wrong here on the bottom. This block shouldn't be that. Okay. That. Oh, it does there too, I think so. It's off. It's off. What did I do wrong here? Oh, it's got that little thingy that goes up this way, right around that edge on the top side. Okay, so we're not doing that on the bottom side. We're just going to keep it like kind of it is. So it's a little different again. Again, dealing with like something that I'm trying to make organic, having things like that, little discrepancies, hopefully it would make it look a little bit more, I don't know, realistic. I wouldn't say realistic, that's a stretch, but unique might be a better word. Okay, oval eye. Let's get a couple of these other pieces in here, and then try to make it look more eye-like. This is pretty big yet. And you know what? How I got that coming down here, the whole point was you're supposed to be able to fly in through a force field hanger on this side, and this is coming down so much it would be very disruptive to that. One sec though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5.5 blocks distance. That's not enough from there. So modification again. Let's not have this come down as far. And I don't know. Maybe I should not have this a oval like that. Maybe I should try to bend it back up. Maybe like the bottom is. Could see how it works out at least. Alright, so if that were to happen, and one of the reasons why I wanted to try to build something like this for a video is because it's completely different than the other builds that I'm doing. And if you're, especially if you're new to this and you want to learn the blocks and these wedges that I put so much importance on, this is a real prime example of the kind of stuff you could concoct with a lot of wedge blocks in the different angle sets and stuff. And so it's kind of it's a good example of that, to do kind of complicated block work and try to get things to blend together, which I think is important too. I used to struggle so much with this kind of thing. The more complicated I got, the more of a struggle it was. And then you eventually work through it or find some kind of solution. Might not be the best solution, but ways to deal with it. Like right there, I don't like this. I didn't like that little pointy at the end, so I know of another block here, being these. I can fit here to get rid of that little wedge pattern that was there. But you have to use a right and left version of that. And now I don't like the wedge pattern on the row above it. So let's try to fix that as well, if possible. I don't think I can do that. I think the only block that will work is the one that was there. It's got that weird little pointy thing going down there, which is, I think, the thing that's bugging me right now. I don't know if I like the eyeball idea now. It's like I thought I'd try it, and then I changed it because it would interfere with the hangar door. And now I realize I just don't really like it. Doesn't look right. Maybe this should be a face that sticks out instead. So, alright, I'm going to manipulate this some more here. Just not really feeling the shaping here. Yeah, I'm really thinking that rather than an eye, this should be an extension in a face. Reason why I'm thinking that, let me show you some examples of past Kriel stuff here in a minute, and where I'm coming from, and some of the design things that were done in the past. So on the Kriel Airy, it does something like this, and this kind of mimics a little something on the very first Kriel creation I made too. Let me get that spawned as well. That'd be the Kriel Gas. Okay, so these two designs here have a certain feature on them. And it has to do with this formation here, this kind of, believe it or not, this, I know it doesn't look anything really like it, but if you take a look at it like the Aliens movie, and if you look at the forehead of the aliens themselves, the big long head that they've got, it's just trying to kind of follow that block, or trying to follow that shape a little bit. But obviously, you can't do a whole lot with it. But it basically, I kind of like that formation. It was kind of like a definer of Kriel or something, one of the design characteristics. And this base over here does the same kind of thing here with that. And I think there's some other Kriel creations too that also have this particular shape format, kind of like some kind of head. And I think that would feel and fit correctly on this creation too. So if I did do that though, I want it to come out at a more aggressive angle. Right now it's kind of doing a 45 going around this ring. Nah, it needs to come out more than that. And maybe I shouldn't try to keep, I'll still try to keep that dividing line there. I kind of like that. I don't know if I do like that or not now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe it would be better if I didn't do that. Anyway, so what we got to do is we got to start an angle here, and we're going to come out at a different angle this time than what was just done there last time. And now the big debate is, do I want to just kind of follow this line or leave a seam there? I think I'm just going to follow this line. I don't think I'm going to leave the seam like I was doing originally. Again, one of those things, wasn't really liking how that part was coming out. And if you something like this big, if you make something that you don't really like, it kind of, I don't know, kind of disrupts you from the excitement of the rest of it. So you got to just keep on trying to like everything that you're doing, I guess. At least with me. But I have no intent on abandoning this particular creation or anything like that. I do want to finish it to completion, but it's gonna be scary for quite a while until I get this body done. After that, I'm pretty sure I'll know how to like find a way to make the interior work somehow. But getting the body done and liking it is gonna be the tough part. So, okay, so this is kind of starting that that head structure here. I've got some. Okay, so that has. I think everything looks pretty good so far, but it has to follow this curve around this way, in which it has to be that block. Okay. Might run into a problem here, though. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how the blocks line up. My angle here. It's okay. That's okay. I think that can still work. I don't want this head to be like coming down too far, but it would be kind of neat if you could put like almost like a control bridge here, which would be a nice convenient spot too, because if incoming ships are flying in here, you got kind of this like control tower sitting up above it. That I think would feel all right for a creation like this. Okay, now how do I want to do this here? I think maybe just a flat row here. I know I've tried to avoid doing much flatness here, but if I decide to use some glass windows or something coming across the front, I'm going to need that row of flatness anyway, otherwise the windows may not work. To invert this angle on the bottom side. Start at its origin here. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wrong angle. Wrong angle. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Oh, it switches angle right here. Okay, okay. Just talking out loud. I don't know if any of you ever tried to do a video and just talk to yourself for like 45 minutes to an hour. It's a weird experience. Alright, so that does that. Then we change this. Start beveling it off around the bottom. And that's going to be kind of a weird little intersection here. But I think it should be fine. Oops. Almost fine. Okay, let's get the little corner in. And this, because this isn't working out right though, because this comes out at that angle, and this bevels in at this angle, which I don't think it should do that quite yet. So, oops. Oh, but then if I don't do that, then I'm gonna get into this situation here where that doesn't work right. place on the top? Pretty much just... confusing myself here. Okay, so why is the bottom so much different than the top? I was trying to emulate the same angles, but I must have screwed something up here. So it starts there, and it looks like these blocks are the same. Okay, let's just take this one step back. This block here is just a straight up 45, like that. So that means this block would have to be a straight up 45. And this one as well. That doesn't line up though. Because this part's coming out different. Ah, there's what the discrepancy was. Oh, it makes more sense. I used the wrong blocks. Alright. Okay, at the front of this, that's another thing with the glass. It'd be kind of neat to use the fancy glass, but they're typically pretty limited. We've already had some of that around. Alright. And the straight like angled piece here, I don't think is necessarily going to look terribly exotic at all. So just to count here, one last thing I want to experiment with too is going to be a little tricky, especially if I'm using force fields for doing this, because there's only certain sizes of force fields, and you got to find you know, a size that can actually fit and work. Usually using the larger ones, the biggest ones you can, probably the better idea, because they're quite large force fields. There's a 7 by 12. Hate that even number on it, on the 12 side of it. But, nah, what's this? A 5 by 11. Okay, so we got odd numbers on both sides, so I like that. So, how wide of a gap should this hanger actually have in the middle, or in here? I need to set up some tests for that too. Okay. Really hard to place these and see what's going on though, but I'm gonna have to do some counting on this. Maybe I'll save that for next video, and try to get more of the front of this done, and just keep on working this thing and working this thing. It's gonna be a bit, and I might start doing some things off screen here and there, but because I have a feeling that I could probably spend another probably 5 to 8 more videos of just working on the hull on this thing. It is taking a bit, and there's more structure to be done yet on this too, but it's starting to, you know, take a little bit of shape, but it is too early to really say, you know, where things are going to go with it yet. Kind of like predicting the weather 2 weeks in the future. Don't exactly know. I don't even exactly know. I couldn't even exactly tell you what decisions might end up happening throughout the course of the rest of this. But what I do know is it's going to have a fairly large area to walk in here, and it definitely will have a force field style hangar door. Hopefully that kind of looks kind of curvy with the block structures around it, and I want it big enough so you can park like most any SV I would say HV. Of course, you can park those in there too, but um, you know, so it'll have a big door, big area inside. I'm gonna have again. I'm gonna have to start thinking about the turrets, and I would love to come up with a neat solution to kind of keep solar panels on here, like even if it was reforging, like a full set of 24, but have them so they don't look human like, you know, maybe even kind of partially hide them or have in a weird formation somehow off in extension arms that haven't been made yet, stuff like that. But this is a start, and it's weird. It's weird, but it is getting there. Um, that's kind of the how I always wanted Kriel to be. I always wanted all their creations to be weird. Some of the POIs that I started making for Kriel, they kind of lost a little of that weird factor. They started blending more into like straight line stuff, and even this one here, it's trying to be weird, but it wasn't really what I had in mind. It's a bit exotic, but it doesn't really feel organic at all on this base here. And this I'm trying to make this one feel a lot more organic than some of the other stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, y'all have yourself a good day. Probably have a video tomorrow again on doing this. Might jump ahead just a little bit in places, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to bore you to death with all this block work. I know for the most part you just want to see end results, unless you're trying to learn the blocks. But last two videos been nothing but weird block work on this, so I think you've probably seen enough of that. All right, take it easy, all. I will talk to you later.